But why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. Because you're adorable, you really are. You're a very sweet person, and I like you like a friend, like very, very much. But Makoto, you are just far too stupid to be the mastermind. Hello, YouTube! I'm Unca Crunk, just your standard issue purple monster of a certain age who plays games on the internet. In the previous episode of Danganronpa, we completed the 5th trial with Makoto being executed. Well, nearly. Alter ego, absolute effing unit that they are, copied themselves onto the network and so were able to intervene to scupper Monokuma's attempts to kill Makoto. Also, I convinced myself that the mastermind is Mukuro Ikusaba and that the body we discovered in the garden is the exhumed corpse of Junko Inoshiba, for a variety of reasons that I explained earlier and I'm sure will be explained later. Anywho, now we just need to rejoin Makoto and discover his post-failed execution fate. A massive high school towers over all other buildings in this bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are 2 things you need to attend this school. 1, you have to already be attending high school. 2, you have to be the very best at what you do. And I really hope we're not redoing the entire beginning. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school filled with the ultimate students was me. Oh, okay. Okay, a bit of an abbreviation. Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It'd be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class of war or whatever. But what was I doing asleep here just now? Wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Oh, the desk was in a trash pit. Finally, I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then I was awake. Or is this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell, because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast, dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. That was just the beginning of my problems. Am I going to be stuck in there until I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well what had happened. Alter ego! They saved me. and they used up the last little bit of their strength to do it. Oh, I doubt that. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of there. Okay, so near the beginning of my adventure in Danganronpa, I was told to watch the introduction before chapter 6. So I did. And I know that this is part of a rocket ship that was used in an execution of like a dude, like an adult dude, like not a teenager. That's a rocket and a tank. I'd better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me. Oh yeah, right, he was in the desk. Nope, already looked at that. This looks like part of an airplane. Is that an airplane? There are two of them. How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, I'm not getting out of here anytime soon. I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? Again, pointless. Feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up. Because I'm still alive. Where there's life, there's hope. And as long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. And making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. Can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of a sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. What the? A strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, a pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
Kyoko! Giant piece of trash? Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was. I'm guessing she dropped...
It smells awful.
Yeah, it does. Nice hat. I'm guessing she dropped some garbage bags down to, like, cushion her fall on the way down. Kyoko!
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing down here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey,
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Ah! Bread rolls and water. Thank you! I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. Oh, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not! I'm the protagonist after all. The fact that I can keep going forward is well, okay, let's just face it, it's pretty much the only thing I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. So, how you been? Kyoko? Why'd you come to rescue me?
so
To pay a debt. Or, no, to atone. Atone?
you.
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. Oh, so you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Oh, don't say that. You didn't abandon me. Exactly, precisely, kind of, a little bit. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me. I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However,
But listen, I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive, no matter the cost. And why did you have to survive?
it's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. Finally! The reason I have to survive
In other words,
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. But it's going to take forever to actually get the information out of her, isn't it? What? I made up my mind to come to Hope Speak Academy for one very important reason. So, you have some reason to come into Hope Speak?
indeed.
That's right. At least I did. Once. Once? Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot, but that's a symptom of amnesia, which you have been claiming to have for like a few days now. Oh, you actually did remember. I had no memory of what my purpose was. No memory, but that's impossible. This isn't a soap opera. Amnesia. Then, is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself. A disconnect.
It would seem.
Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. That time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey,
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow, they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However,
And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of this school and the mastermind, which is why I have to get them back. Oh, okay. See, because of other hints we picked up along the way, I thought that we all had our memories modified, and for some reason or another, they just took a little extra from her accidentally. But it sounds like it was purposeful. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. Since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? A mastermind. One of us. One of us. One of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. Because you're adorable, you really are. You're a very sweet person, and I like you like a friend, like very, very much. But Makoto, you are just far too stupid to be the mastermind. I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary stupid child like myself could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
Yeah. It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
listen.
Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. No, honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. Do we have more talking to do? You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So, how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. I think I know what it is. I think I've said it a few times. Let's find out. You mentioned your ability.
I...
My ability, what everyone should have known me for. Do it! I'm the ultimate detective. The ultimate detective?
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope Speak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope Speak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. Well, damn. Okay, we're doing this. Oh crap. I think I know who that execution in the introduction was. Oh, yeah. Yoko. I might have some bad news for you. Don't think Makoto knows it yet, though. So, maybe I watched the intro a little bit too. Damn.
In other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Yoko's dad is Hope's Peak Is Hope's Peak's headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us how they thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way.
Huh?
No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? My memory hadn't come back at that point. And he said that I felt strange. Makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto. I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
so
The room had been ransacked. Shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor. Only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues. So I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
Once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was it like, that part of the school, I mean? It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
so
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. Okay, anything else to say?
however,
Of course. Once I got to the second floor of the dorms, there were no cameras and no monitors. Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukuro Ikasaba, doesn't it?
however,
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then, who did kill her?
anyway,
Well, it had to, okay, first of all, I think we're confusing Mukuro Ikasaba and Junko Inishiba. Inishiba or Nishima? I don't remember. Anyway, I think it was Monokuma that killed her. when she attacked Monokuma. What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. Even though Monokuma's been interfering directly through the Monokuma file for a few trials now. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. Makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
Yeah, because the world is watching. There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. What? It could have been you, Makoto. Oh, when you saved me. I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You mean... Yeah, okay. During the night,
I
can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases, just like this.
Anyway,
This is exactly what happened with you. Okay, I was not expecting some supernatural bullshit with her ultimate detective ability. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell. I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room, and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... whoever the master assailant was. They ended up dead.
correct.
Their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind, and an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So, all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
Don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. That's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use class trial to try to kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. It's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So, what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Bleh.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more. Should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. Ow. Oh. Okay. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
what happened a year ago. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I would love to hear the Japanese for that. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair?
It would seem...
That despicable group, whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. Oh, okay. Chapter end. Six students remaining. Okay, obviously we are continuing now. Dream Island Rocket! Hey, we found that in the garbage. The name of the achievement for finishing this chapter was 5 Alive. Johnny 5 is alive! Ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed, sort of. But right now, we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? You know, that skeleton key? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Do I just click on it or do I click on her again? Hey, Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this door?
It's true.
Let's find out. Otherwise, you wasted a trip. Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then, click! Yes, it opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally! We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Ultimate cake! Cake or death. After leaving the garbage pit, we finally found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. Couldn't even see where it ended. I love her boots. Those... Ow! Fantastic. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. I hate ladders. I'm not afraid of heights, but I hate ladders. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So, how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So,
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come? It is like your family tradition, right? So,
Right.
because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
Detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. Stand neutral in all things. And to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational, but it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Then how do you get hired to do jobs? You just turn up and be like, oh, hi, okay, you're gonna have to take my word for this, but I'm really good at what I do. So I'm going to investigate this, okay? Sure, I don't know. I mean, it's what Poirot does, but everyone knows who Poirot is. Anyway, pride. So that explains... Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. So she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However,
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Really? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
what?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. What? But you'd be reuniting after all these years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
It's nothing I want to talk to my father about. Oh, okay.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him. Face to face. Oh, honey. What is it?
So,
I want to sever all ties with him. Oh, okay, so I actually have some good news to go along with the bad news. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
however,
But he had no interest in detective work, so he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died. He simply ran away. He went to my grandfather. They had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. Take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, for obvious reasons. so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. Couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that she compared to her... Wait, hang on. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. Maybe she doesn't like ladders either. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. It's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However.
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However.
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. Eesh. Yeah, you're not getting that closure. Damn and blast. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever, I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family to just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Besides, he cut me out. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. So shocked to hear her say something like that. Didn't know how to respond. Instead, I said nothing. Good choice. I know Japan is all about, what do they call it? Filial piety. You know, you respect your family and you're very loyal to your family and all that. But, dude, he cut her out of his life. So, of course, she would want to make it clear. Anyway, she's not getting that chance. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. After I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Well, looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. Reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. Hatch opened with ease, and so... looks like we're back.
Whew.
But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary, I was just returning the favor. After all, I put you in that pit. So, now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and there's a camera right over there, I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer. But...
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. What about... Wait, hang on. What?
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. It's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't.
Because
the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
so
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment when the mastermind let the guard down. There was?
right.
We can talk to Monokuma. We can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Alrighty then. Here we go.
Well now.
Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead! What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay?
Boom, boom.
You were supposed to be punished! Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you.
Angry!
So now I gotta punish you again. And this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko, help!
Right.
Do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that it matters to you, right?
Huh?
Right? I lose?
Hey!
You explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego! You never imagined a possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? We didn't vote for Monokuma, which means the Blackened got away with it, which means we all died. Don't figure it out, don't figure it out, don't figure it out. You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just come out and say it. What is this, a comedy routine to make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth.
Boom, boom.
And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
You were to execute Makoto now. Everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. But
indeed.
imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. Never play poker with Kyoko. You want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do McGrow's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, would that make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. And at this point, I would welcome the rest. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Very.
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So, time for bear jokes. Now, what you suggested might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown! He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So, for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right. Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain myself.
then that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
It's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? You're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how all this has turned around.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. You remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. What? Mukuro's trial is no exception, then it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro... It's a very polarizing approach, I know. But okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why so mad?
Whew.
He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. It's probably the teenage hormones. Okay, I'm going to just, You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto. Let's go. Okay. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. Still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
however,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true.
whew,
But still, I'm glad it worked out. Wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
so,
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
because,
It's all because of that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard. Like I said, So, when was it that the mastermind let the guard down?
So,
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
listen.
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
Don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
Yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
so,
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world?
it would seem.
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anyone.
In other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
correct.
Prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey,
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? Certain concept. Talking about hope, right?
that's right.
Or those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair. The mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope. But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto,
Know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
in other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world, the mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
At least that's how those who are watching this have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer and made me out to be a killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
Prove to the world that despair is better than hope. They have to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet.
Whew.
But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, Haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. Seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I'd shown my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
correct.
Where everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. Yeah, you're right. We can't defeat the mastermind. It'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind. Work together with everyone.
however,
Is that really possible?
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to go find the others.
shall we go?
Probably in the dorms somewhere. There we go. In the next episode, for now, to the outro. Okay, so Monokuma tampered with Kyoko's mind. If they can do that, then they could also have done so to the rest of us, which would explain the photos and the crazy diamond pickaxe. Also, the fact that we have no memory of the tragedy or of the school shutting down. If the tragedy happened while we were at school and we had our memories removed from the time we first entered the school to 1 year after the tragedy, that would explain a lot. Not sure why they waited until a year after the tragedy to start the killing game, but whatever. Also, totally called Kyoko being the ultimate detective, although I'm sure it was obvious to literally everyone. Surprised that the headmaster was her father, though. Oh, and yeah, I was told to watch that intro before Chapter 6, but I jumped the gun just a little bit, so I'm pretty sure that the adult killed by that rocket in the intro was the headmaster. No biggie. Also, totally my fault for not following instructions properly. Anywho, now we have to find all of the secrets of Hope's Peak and prove who killed Mukuro, or Junko if I'm right. Back in episode 27, the tutorial guy told me I was halfway through the game. I think they lied. This feels like the end, or very close to it. The beginning of the end, anyway. Well, the last investigation and the last trial, at any rate. But we'll get on that in the next episode. In the meantime, up here is a playlist of my Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney playthrough, and down here is a video that YouTube recommends. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!